Right, we've got our girdle polished up here all the way around. I hope I've got enough stone to do everything. So I sit my adjusting section back in the head. It's got a lock here, and then also on the top it's got a piece you can spin around to raise and lower the head. So you get a little bit of adjustment, about a 1/4 inch of adjustment here. Oh, got to redo that. And now we're going to work on the pavilion. I'm going to start with the Q-lit facets at 43 degrees. That's a suggested angle for feldspar. And we will cut them, smooth them down, and polish them before we go on to the brake facets. So, here we go. Well, we're all set up to start the pavilion. I've got a 500 grit plate on, got our water, got everything mounted here. I've got my adjustment on the arm, on the mast again. It's got a lock screw here, and the top section here is adjustable. You can move this, screw it in or screw it out, which moves the head up or down. So you've got about a 1/4 inch, 5/16 of adjustment on there. So we've got that all set up, and we've got our angles set at, it's hard to see actually, but we've got the angle set at about 43 degrees. And we got a stop on there to keep it there. So we're going to go through and cut our Q-lit facets, and then I'll smooth them down and polish them before we go on to the girdle facets. Let's get started. Are you ready, Riley? You ready to work? No? Okay, you can nap for a little bit. That's fine. Now I have to get used to this myself because I watch my angle finder a lot and then check it out when I get down close. But with this one, you're cutting by sound a lot of times. You've got a hard stop on there, yes. But you can hear it cutting until it stops. You can see this is at just barely ticking on the plate, so we know we're down to the hard stop. But we're not down to Q-lit area, but that's the difference between this head. Is all by feel and by sound, and then you look. And believe it or not, that's going to help make you a better fastener. Well, we've got the Q-lit facets here smoothed down to a worn 1200 grit plate. From there we're going to jump to a 3000 and then polish them. So, had to straighten them out a little bit. My cheater wasn't in the exact right spot, so we had to work with that a little bit and get it straightened out. But I think we're in pretty good shape right now. So we're going to continue on. Alright, we have an update. I'll pull this right on out of here. That on our stone here, we have finished polishing the mains on the bottom, and I did cut in the girdle facets, the brake facets along the girdle line. Oops, there's Riley, she's up here to help. So our next step is, I did use a real fine plate to cut those in with. So I'm just going to jump right to my polishing. I am using a Spectra Ultra Lap. I've got the little 4-inch ones I'm using. They happen to work real good on quartz, but they also work on the feldspar. So, without further delay, we're going to set up and we're going to polish up those, and then we will be ready to transfer this and start the crown. Alright. Another note though, the one handy thing about this setup, the way it is you can just pull it right out of the yoke and check your work. And then you just set it right back in like that. So it is a cross between the current mast type fastening machines and the hand faceter. So it has advantages and disadvantages. Well, let's continue on. Well, we have our pavilion finished. Got the 8 mains and the 16 brake facets on the girdle. The girdle is polished. So now we are going to put it on the transfer block, flip it over, start the crown. So far the little machine is doing okay. It takes a little bit of effort and you got to watch what you're doing, but it's doing a fine job as it did before. Well, Riley's here with me, and we have got this felspar, it's a Sunstone actually, set in the quill again. I set it at 90 degrees, and I went flat to the facet and tightened down the nut here on the collet. Alright, so we got that set. We've also got set for 42 degrees. That is the suggested angle for felspar for our mains on the crown. And we got our height set so that we're all the way up on top here and on the plate here, so that I can go down when I turn this in. We're ready to go. So we're going to do 8 mains, and we're going to go through and smooth them out and polish them, and then continue on with the brake facets, and then the star facets, and then the table. And we will be done. Takes a little bit longer with this sequence, with this head, but with this type of marker, it's virtually impossible to get back to the exact point you were. That may be 42, it may be 42.4, it may be 42.6, it may be 41.8, I don't know. But if we go through and do the first 8 facets and do them all right through polish, then we don't have to change that. And we should be right on the money for each step. So let's get started. Well, we have our facets, the mains, on the crown. Polished. Got kind of a thick girdle, but this stone is going to be just for looking and not for setting. So that's okay. We're going to leave the girdle kind of thick. They're polished, so now I'm going to go on and do the brake facets. I'll go around and cut them in with a 1200 plate and polish them up. And then I'll go ahead and do the star facets and then the crown. So, let's get started. Well, here's our round brilliant design. Now we did it on a standard low budget faceting head. This is the first one that I had, and it does work, but it takes a lot of time and you have to make quite a few adjustments. But you can turn out a decent stone. Now this turned out to be a round brilliant design, but I did add, as some of you know, when you do a larger round brilliant, your girdle line gets a little jagged. So what I did was I added a small facet on the bottom of the mains at 58 degrees, which straightened out my girdle line. So the design came out fairly well. Not a bad stone. Facets aren't perfect because this head is not easy to use. You just have to work with it, and it can produce a good stone. So I guess the next step up is we're going to take this and we're going to weigh it on a scale and measure it, and then we will put it on the turntable. Okay, we measured the stone, and we've got 12 millimeters from flat to flat on that design. Now we've got the scale here, and we're going to put it on the scale and find out what it weighs. 6.78 carats. That's a pretty good size round brilliant. 12 millimeters. So we'll put it on our turntable and get a final look at it.